fabulous, financially free, fantastic Friday. So today is Friday. And if you're joining us for the very first time, I want to welcome you and give you a virtual hug and say thank you for joining us. And if you're joining us for the very first time, let me make sure that you can hear me. Why does this look like that? Let's see. Something's going on. This looks kind of like I'm moving, like my internet is not very good. So if you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. If you are seeing me, let me know that you can see me. And most importantly, tell me about you. How are you a fabulous fabpreneur? Tell me about you. I want to hear about you. So I can see that I can hear. I went into YouTube. So it's interesting. I think it's raining. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's raining out there. So maybe because I'm so high up, I am the junior penthouse here in my apartment. Maybe that's why the internet is kind of weird today. And we don't have the best, unfortunately, our HOA, in my opinion, did not pick the best internet company to have us use. And because of that, it'd be a delay. Okay, so today we have an interesting show that has been met with a lot of resistance. So I'm just letting you know that we've had a lot of technical issues as we've been trying to get this going since earlier today, and it's all good, because now we're here. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and bring up one of my guests. So today I have a very special guest. And let me bring her up. I'll tell you about her and then I'll ask her to tell us about her. So today I have as my guest Mary Jane Charles. And I consider her a VIP queen because Mary Jane Charles is an entrepreneur that I call a fabpreneur because she is a person that puts herself first, her business, and is in the flow, and it is attracting and manifesting what she wants into her life and into her business. And the reason why I say that is because she made a conscious decision to join our healing classes, our master classes, as well as our upcoming Moneyfest Live International Women's Conference happening November 1st and 2nd. Now, before we jump into today's topic on how to receive more money by releasing your intentions, let me ask Mary Jane to unmute herself and introduce herself to you.
Good morning. I'm Mary Jane Charles. I go by the moniker Last Wishes Facilitator, which seems ominous, but it's not. It's a help. It's a push. It comes from the fact I wrote a book 10 years ago after my husband died suddenly and had no papers. I had no papers to go by. Not a medical directive, not a sheet of paper, no taxes, which is a very interesting uh, part of the puzzle. And it was an abyss. Bottom line, I wrote a book, I made a workbook, I now have classes, and I now have a podcast on caregiving. So I was able to muddle my way through by the seat of my pants, and whatever, quote, budget I had, I did it. So I don't know how. Sprinkle fairy dust here and a little nicety here. I made it. I'm here to be on your show today.
I love that. But wait, the fairy dust and everything you're manifesting, I'm a big believer, Mary Jane, that we are always manifesting. And I believe in two kinds of manifesting that we do. One, the conscious, and the other one, the unconscious. So you definitely manifest everything. And we just have to recognize that we are manifesting, and sometimes, like I said, consciously and sometimes unconsciously. But before we dive into the how to receive more by releasing your intentions, because we're going to talk about manifesting, specifically manifesting what we want, specifically manifesting money. Tell us a little bit more about your book and where people can find out more about your book and get your book.
My book, so my husband died the first week of May. By that Memorial weekend, I knew I had a book. My dining room table was my war room, and I had stacks. We had real estate, medical. Each stack had a name, and I was so upset, and I was just flying by the seat of my pants, as I mentioned. There were adult step people on the other side, not my children by a long shot, but these people who were there, of course, saying, is there money, in so many words. And where is this? Where is it? Why don't you do this? So I sat back, and I don't know where the power came from, other than a friend's husband had called me. And he said, Mary Jane, he's very kind. He said, you've got this. And I smiled. I demurred. He got really serious. No, you won't do anything wrong. You grab this and you make it work your way. It was the most empowering gift anyone, I think, has ever said to me. And with that, I took command. And these people were asking me, I mean, you know them as well as I did. And I basically said, you know what? I'll get back to you. Keep that phrase in your back pocket for the day anybody is making you crazy about something you have no control over. You're aware of it, you're working on it, etc. Don't let them push you around. Say, you know what? I'll get back to you. It's short, it's sweet. You can govern it with tone of voice and body language. Make it work for you. I did, and they all scrambled back under the rocks from which they came. I actually had some elbow room. Of course, as soon as they left, I burst into tears because I was like, where did that come from and how do I do it again? But I had done it. Fast forward, my book is called Surviving the Business of Dying, Why Final Papers Matter. And I had a good old fit for myself, like 3 weeks later when I looked around this room and had to call the butcher, the baker, the banker, the attorney, the bank. I mean, you sit there, you lose your mind. So I burst into tears, had a good fit. I was the only one home, so I could really have an ugly fit and an ugly cry. Use all the noise. I'm laughing now, but I was a mess. I think the cat got up and left. The dog's like, what am I going to do? So I wrote this book, and I swore to myself, no woman should have to go through this. And I'll leave out all my adjectives. They're not ladylike. I had a fit. I keep saying that. I'm getting in a fit, as I tell you. And I decided I'm going to write a book. I'm looking at all these piles. They became my chapters. Each one was a chapter. Now, one of these step people had me in an attorney office less than 24 hours after his father died. I think you should meet. I was like, so you're delirious. You can't govern anything in the moment. So I went and I watched this like a bad play. This man walks in, couldn't get my name straight. And I stopped correcting him. And it was man to man in front of me. These two people were talking. Well, at my heart and soul, I'm a New Yorker. And I'm like, this isn't boding well at all. So I let him babble a little more. And I said, you know what? That's all we're doing today. And I stood up. I put my coat on because I was living in Portland, Oregon at the time it was cold. And they're both like, what is she doing? And I said, I thank you for your time. And that's all we're doing. And I looked at what's his name. I'm like, come here, sonny boy. We're leaving. He was about 50. I was 68. So his my respect level was in place, but I wasn't being chummy. And so we left. I said, I need you to understand. Your father died yesterday, and I'm not doing anything else. This is not my attorney. I will find an attorney. It will be the funeral's next week, and it will be after that. So he was flabbergasted. He was the king of Silicon Valley. So and you're I can't hear you, Evie. I'm so sorry. Should I go on? Anyway, the books were born, and my friends said, "Great book, Mary Jane. I still don't know what to do." So I created a workbook. And after the workbook, I created classes. My books can be found on Amazon. Because Mary Jane Charles was too long for the front of the book, my book name is simply MJ Charles. So you can go to Amazon, look up MJ Charles. The MJ are together, and my books will pop up. And aside from that, I also have mjcauthor.com as my personal site. And if you want the books today, I can put them in an envelope and mail them to you. You can purchase them there. I can't hear you. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I have more to the story, but I'll wait till you give me the go sign.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So let me just set the intention, okay? You know, there's always a lesson for us to learn in everything. That is my true belief. This morning I woke up highly energized and most importantly, highly inspired. And this week has been an interesting week for me. A lot of lessons. And the divine source within me inspired the title. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Inspired the title of this live stream today, and I thought I would share it. How to receive more money by releasing your intention. So, this title that I'm sharing, it's really from my heart, this topic, because I was inspired to it from my own beingness. And I want you to think about how often we hold on that things have to look this way, they have to show up this way, that our intentions have to manifest exactly when and how we want them, right? And that could be any type of intention. So, Divine Source said, wait, number one, the more that I release, the more that I receive. The more that I release, the more that I receive. So, what is it that we are releasing? So, my thought is that and I'm going to say and I truly believe that there's only one of us here. And if you are watching this in the live, or if you are listening to the replay, stay. Let me just tell you, today's broadcast did not come in easy. Mary Jane and I logged in at 11 and we had difficulty. Perhaps it was my energy that was a little bit off today when I thought consciously that I was on. But we operate 95% of the time unconsciously. We have all these unconscious beliefs, and sometimes we don't feel that energy that is underneath, and we're unaware of it. And so today, how to receive more money by releasing. Releasing sounds easier said than done. Would you agree with that?
Oh, sure.
Right? We set the intention that we want to release our attachment to our manifesting exactly what we want, exactly when we want it. And I'm saying we because yes. And so, how do we allow, and listen to the words that I'm using, and I'm telling you that I'm coming at you with a heavy heart because I'm sharing something that's very deep and personal that I have been going through. And I know that everything we go through is for our highest and best good. And I'm in this journey, and whoever is around me or whoever I meet is not a coincidence. Do you believe in coincidence? Because I don't.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
No, the stars align. I mean, we both have stories up that alley, and I too am living one now, and it just is joyous. So it
Yes,
happens, and it's not a coincidence. There were
exactly. It
too
is not. Absolutely, Mary Jane. It is not a coincidence. And so when we first allow ourselves to be open and receptive to everything and anything, and say, I'm open and receptive to understanding what is happening in a different way. Why is this happening? And to say it's happening for me, for my greater good, for my benefit, and shift that energy and shift that understanding and shift that belief, then we can grow. You know, Many of us that are part of our Fabpreneurs community, whether you're part of our Financially Free Fabpreneurs Facebook community or you've been attending our weekly Thursday Fabpreneurs networking, I consider you a part of this community. And that's all free to you. And our biggest intention is for us to manifest. Maybe on this realm, we call it money because that's the way we define it, this paper, right? Money, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
true? That, yeah. And beyond that, there's something that we want to manifest, and that is what I call financial freedom. And Mary Jane, how do you resonate? How does that feel for you? That word, do you resonate with the words financial freedom?
I do. We all know the stomach settles and your sleep is better when you know the bills are paid. That's lovely. But to go a step further or two and actually be able to buy that pair of shoes without using a card, the simple things in life, but
Yes.
that's another kind of freedom.
Exactly. And I love the word financial freedom because, in my belief, we can all define what and how that shows up in our lives. And because it has the word freedom, which I believe that is a feeling that we all want. And when I think of freedom, and I want you to think in your mind, when you think of freedom, what shows up in your mind? Freedom, what shows up? That you are free, that you are flowing, and the more that we're able to be in that flowing state, the more that we are receptive to receiving, right? And Mary Jane, I don't know if you're muted, but I'm going to ask you to unmute because I'm hearing a little bit of background noise, and I don't know if it's me or you. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. Okay, good. So how do we shift from forcing to flowing, right? And today is going to be a very emotional day for me. And I'm so happy that Mary Jane said yes to herself first, to her divine guidance second, and somehow to listening to this message through me, because I'm saying through me because I'm just a messenger, and I'm just a reflection of you, I believe, and you're a reflection of me. And in truth, there's only one of us. And today, you and I, along with some other women that have come in as a VIP for the Manifest Live International Women's Conference, and some that have just decided to register to today's 1 o'clock healing financial trauma class, we are saying yes to going on this journey together in unity. And we're kind of like sisters, this the sister of one, that we have decided that we're going to go through this, right? And the first thing is that we want to shift from this idea that we are making things happen to we are in the flow and allowing things to happen through us. And what do I mean? I am not going to make anything happen. I'm going to release that idea every day that I have to make things happen. And what am I referring to? Oh, I have to make money happen. I have to make money. I know that we know all this, and I know you've heard it, and I've heard it. And intellectually, in our minds, we know it, right? I invite us to go deeper under the hood to the subconscious mind by doing a practice that I call the FAB money scripting method of manifesting financial freedom, which is a certain way of, if you want journaling, if you want scripting, you can call it, but it's money scripting. And I'll tell you really brief what the difference is. Journaling is about writing. It could be free flow writing. It could be retrospective. It could be, you sharing your day. It could be you just writing in the flow. So that's just writing, kind of allowing or maybe tracking. Scripting is into the future, right? Of whatever it is. Money scripting is specifically about money and what you're manifesting financially. And it's the word money scripting that I'm trademarking and the method FAB money scripting because it was gifted to me in that way, right? And so today, when we come together, we're going to explore that for the two purposes. Number one, for the purposes of releasing our financial trauma. In other words, releasing the drama, releasing the story. Now, I want you to understand that I'm not a psychotherapist, even though this term was developed in the most recent years by a father son psychotherapy. Actually, they're psychologists, doctors in psychology. Um, Financial trauma may be the culprit, may be the reason why, even though we may have been investing a lot of money in our business for marketing and sales, and even mindset, and even abundance, and even manifesting for years. For me, my goodness, I started therapy, psychotherapy, when I was, I think, 17 in school because of all this, right? And I don't know about you, but would you agree that you have spent and invested, I like the word invested, a lot of money, time, and effort into your business and into your self development, Mary Jane?
Absolutely. One step at a time, not realizing it at first. And then decisions brought me to a whole new place. So, yes.
And have you ever asked yourself out loud, or a coach or a mentor, or even thought about the question, why? Why am I not exactly where I want to be, enjoying the life of my dream exactly as I have dreamt it? Have you ever had that?
Yes. And more recently, I moved cross country after all of that settled down. I just quickly, the estate settled and I paid the taxes on the estate. I reverted to my maiden name. That is freedom, hugely.
And so when you think about that, and I know that whether consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, right? We're coming together today again to go under the hood. I'm saying, I don't know why I'm saying the car terminology, under the hood, to see what is still not working. In other words, and I don't know why I'm getting these downloads right now, this analogy of a car. I am not good with cars in terms of if there is something not functioning, even a simple thing, like, for example, my backup camera stopped working in the car, right? So I couldn't see behind. I didn't know how to fix that. And I don't know, metaphysically, maybe it started not working because I decided that I'm going to start looking behind my life to see what is that. I'm pardon the word. What's the crap that's behind here in my past that's not allowing me to look forward, right? And so I couldn't find in the car what was happening. So maybe sometimes we have some resistance, and I'm not talking going back like in traditional psychotherapy where we go back and we relive the back. No, just to retell the story. No, I'm saying to free us. I'm going back to that word free, to free ourselves. So not to keep looking behind. No, but rather to move forward, and not just forward into the present moment, forward into the present moment of who we see ourselves as our financially free future self. So, in order for us to do that, we do have to take a little bit of a deep dive. We do have to take a little bit of looking under the hood and see, hey, what the heck is going on? Does this car need oil? Right? Does my car need oil? Is it dried up? Right? Or is it maybe, does it need some of that windshield wiper fluid, right? Or does it need, sometimes when the battery's not working, do we need a jump start? Bzz, bzz. Do we need to jump start it, right? So maybe that is what's happening to you and I, Mary Jane, that we are getting ready to get a jolt of new energy, like when we were little girls, and when we were very young, and when the future seemed bright and pink and beautiful, and when we did not have all this crap that we've experienced in life, when we didn't have any of them, and when we were flowing. Yeah, there might have been stuff going around us, but we weren't always aware of it, and we were just flowing and having fun, right? So there was a point in our lives, maybe, who knows, maybe it was when we were babies and we were in the crib, when we came in the world as cute little girls that we were, right? And our moms were so happy, whether we were a mistake, where we were not planned, they were just so happy with our cute little faces, right? And they loved us and they showed us love. And we were elated because we had just come from heaven, right? Like little girls, they say they come from heaven. So we came from heaven and we were two little angels. And we were little angels in heaven. So we've forgotten that. We have forgotten. And so the invitation that we're going to experience through this training today at 1 o'clock, which is in an hour, it's an invitation to shift from forcing to allowing ourselves to receive, to release our intention that it has to be, look, and sound in a certain way, to shift our mindset from just saying that we're open and receptive to receiving to just receiving. And we do that by taking some practical steps while releasing attachment. What are your thoughts about that as I'm going to just quickly, because today is raining outside. Inside of me is sunny. I have a heavy heart because this is a heavy topic for us to talk about, but it's sunny for me. But all around me, technology is acting really weird. Right now, I hear a frog somewhere in a radio, not too far from me. So I'm just going to walk and go turn off the frog of electronics, the radio that is not tuned into the dial. And I want to hear your thoughts regarding what I just shared with you. And I'll be muting myself so I can listen to you.
So I can feel the difference in the few conversations that Evie and I have had. I've been aware of the, I don't want to call it a block, but I guess it is. I'm not where I should be. And it doesn't make me unhappy at first, but I'm aware of it. So it's like anxiety almost. And in high school, I was worried about algebra and getting through algebra because I did not want to go to summer school. So here I am, fast forward 100 years later, and I've got that gut feeling in my stomach. I need to learn to accept more money into my life and make it broader, do what I want. It's all been a progression, but the other side of my brain, I have at least 4 books sitting there. And out of all those things that I started to tell you before, I learned a lot. And I need to write my books. What is another push? I was one of 5. And the age differences were 17, 15, 11, and 7. And I was the caboose. So all those people are now gone, which is something to realize. I am the last of the Mohicans of this end of the family. It's exceedingly freeing because I don't have anyone telling me what to do, or even in the depth of my brain have to meet someone's approval. But at the same time, I need to write my books because they were quite a group. And, sit there and don't move. I heard that a lot. So you do turn into an observer. And some was funny, some was tragic, some was, you've got to be kidding. And it's all in the books. So I have to start writing again.
And, it's interesting because it is through the writing of this book that I'm writing, and it's the book that I'm writing that has really shifted me from what I've been writing, that the God, universe, source has been downloading onto me. And it's been also the feedback that I've gotten. As some of you may know, that I'm writing a book with the intention of it being published through Hay House. And that's what I'm talking about. And this is painful for me because I've been writing it and working with my ideal publisher for over a year, right? And now I'm just asking myself, am I supposed to self-publish or go through a different publisher? Because I've been very attached that it has to show up in the way that I want it. And so, I'm just letting you into a little bit. This is something that I'm currently working through, releasing the attachment that it has to be my title, my book the way I want it, and the publisher that I want, right? And since I've been working through this, and this week, I got some feedback from the editors. And, when you write a book and you write it with the intention to sell it to a big publisher, you have to have an editor, you have to have either a connection or you have to have a book agent to sell the book, right? So I'm not going to talk about that because I'm just learning about all this. Once I finish and sell my book and get the money for it, then I'll tell you more about it because then would have successfully gone through it. But things haven't been showing up the way I wanted them to show up, right? And I've experienced that attachment very, very strongly this week. And so I wanted to share this idea of releasing because today we're going to start releasing. And because I'm currently working on releasing the way it has to show up. And I tell you this with a heavy heart because it's painful. Because, I've been buying books from Hay House for a long time and they're my ideal publisher. And, it's been a learning experience for me. And so those of you that are working with us, either because you're attending Moneyfest Live on November 1st or 2nd, or those of you that are attending today's healing class, which, by the way, I've put all the information there. You can still join us at 1 o'clock. I'm sharing this because I'm inspired and because I know that there are people that can relate and want to go on this journey with me. I am not sharing this to sell you on any idea or sell you anything. And I realize this is not for everyone. I realize that. This is for you if you consciously can say that you've been asking and you can consciously say that you are receiving it and that you make the decision to receive it. And not for me, not for Mary Jane or the other women that are going through this experience. It's all about you and your divinity, your divine queen, your divine goddess within. We happen to just be in this process with you as your sisters, if you want it, as your mirrors, whatever it may be. And I'm delighted that I get to go through this with you. And I'm talking about you, Mary Jane. I'm talking about all of those that are joining us. And so, Mary Jane, I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. I'm
Well,
thanking you for being a teacher unto me. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was going to say thank you because each time I start to tell this story, it's actually more succinct. and but I like, you know what? That seems a long time ago. So it's all gone. It's like watching an old movie that you don't even want to watch. So it's good. Thank you. I appreciate being here hugely.
Well, I appreciate being here and you being with me and you being on this journey that we are taking on together because we were called and because we asked and because we said yes and we are receiving. And
Yes.
so, thank you.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Yes, and we're just getting started.
I know it. How fun is that?
Absolutely. So I thank you, Mary Jane. I thank you because today we already experienced some technological roadblocks, but we surpassed them. And you know what? There were other women that were supposed to be here with us, but somehow things didn't happen. And that's okay. It was meant to be you and I with whoever logged in the live or and whoever is logging in to watch the replay once I send this back again to people and people see it throughout all the social media that we shared it today. So I want to say thank you again to you. Thank you to all the fabulous financially free fabpreneurs that we have in the financially free fabpreneurs Facebook community. Thank you to all the heart centered female entrepreneurs who keep joining us on Thursdays at 4 p.m. to join us to do a very different kind of networking and connecting from the heart. And thank you to all the women who are joining us in less than an hour. And we're going to dive into this together. So thank you once again. I look forward to seeing everyone today at 1 o'clock. I am sharing the links there to our Fabpreneurs networking, which you can check out at bit.ly Fabpreneurs. I'm inviting all of you that want to come to Moneyfest Live to check out moneyfestlive.com. You still have a chance to get your ticket. If you even think about it, that's already an indication that you should get it. And of course, last but not least, I'll see you in less than an hour in our Healing Financial Trauma. I'll see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much. Be blessed, be a blessing. Say yes to source, say yes to receiving. Release fear, release anxiety, release it all. Every moment that it shows up, say, I release you. The more that we declare it, the more that we believe it, the more that we feel it, the more that we act on it, the more that we be it. Thank you so much and bye for now. Bye. Bye bye.